I request Dr. Nandkumar Kamat to give the presentation on climate change and terrestrial biodiversity.
So, for example, for 15 years I have been monitoring the Kazule, means firefly. There are none this year for the first time in the university. In July, I used to see swarms of fireflies. And this is very alarming situation because there is what is known as a global firefly watch, which is monitoring fireflies all across the world. And they are also reporting that pesticide sprays, climate change, everything, a lot of light. Next. I'll quickly rush through it because we are short of time. We have 21% of land, 79% already covered by my senior person, scientist, Dr. Ingole. Terrestrial ecosystems, I'll quickly rush through this: tundra, taiga, deserts, grasslands, temperate. So they support millions of species. Actually, 3 million, 30 lakh species have been catalogued. And the estimate is we may have 100 lakh or more than that number still to be catalogued. Next. So most important aspect to understand is what determines the biodiversity of the species. Like our campus looks small. It is just 1.71 square kilometers or 170 hectares. But we have 3,000 species. How this is possible? 3,000 species including 600 plant species, 114 bird species, 200 mushroom species, and animals, frogs, reptiles included. 3,000 species in 170 hectares. But in the government, it is registered as degraded land. So how this is possible? So that is possible because of favorable soil and climate. Next. So everyone is discussing carbon credits, carbon trading. What is this carbon? It shows you global carbon cycle, how carbon dioxide is fixed, how carbon dioxide is recycled, how much is contributed by human agencies, how we are impacting the climate, and what could happen if climate change is not controlled. Next. So I will rush to this list. If we go and look at the Earth's globe, we will see that in the northern region you have very cold type of ecosystem, tundras and taigas. They are going to affect very much because of climate change, because they will migrate more towards the colder region. Temperate forests are very important, oaks, sequoias, especially in developed countries. Tropical rainforest is something, Western Ghats we have, Silent Valley we have in Northeast. And grasslands, like university has a vast grassland, and you will see grasslands elsewhere in Deccan also. Next. So this graph shows you under what combination of temperature and rainfall, what type of vegetation can arise in different parts of the world. Next. We have tropical forest. Just now we heard that tropical forest, Dr. Desai said, has vast biodiversity. We are losing it at a rapid rate, and everybody is alarmed that climate change will also cause lots of species, diminishing population. Next. We have tropical rainforest, which are basically, the lungs of the earth. Basically, they are so important for maintenance of the biosphere that it will need a lot of conservation. Next. We have grasslands. They are also important for pastoral communities. We have vast grasslands in South America, Pampas. Then we have prairies. We have in Mongolia. We have in sub-Saharan Africa. And all these grasslands, they nurture hundreds of species of insects, pollinators, birds, reptiles, and whatnot. Next. Then whatever we have done in the past, it impacts our present. Whatever we do at the present, it will impact our future. So if we have some evidence from the past, it is a bit easier to predict our future. Let us see how it has been. Next. The life on Earth is 4 billion years old. And we have seen 5 extinctions of mass species. This is the 6th biosphere. And biologists say that if it gets extinct, it is not because of natural causes, but it's because of our own actions. So this is how Earth has come all the way through ice ages, then various types of warm periods. Last glacial period was 18,000 years back. Fortunately, we are in a warmer period, but it is getting more warmer than usual because of fossil fuel consumption and anthropogenic activities. Next. So this is the trend that we see of climate all over 65 million years to the present, and natural changes have been accounted for, but what was not expected is the impact that human actions have made on the global climate. Next. You can see that curve which goes up and down, up and down, and up and down, and indicates in the white this one cool periods of Earth's history, warm periods of. These were all due to natural causes. For the first time in the history of our beautiful planet, we have landed up in a situation due to our own mismanagement of the resources. Next. Next. So this is how plant life have evolved. From there was nothing, only chemical soup on Earth, and it has taken the Earth to create all the biodiversity that we see around us, 3 million species. That is just the tip of the iceberg. It has taken the Earth 4 billion years to create, and it can be all lost within a few years. This thought itself is very depressing. Next. So studying effect of past climate changes on global vegetation. What happens is, today if you teach a student, he thinks that the biodiversity that is taught in the school, that X grows in this country, Y grows in that country, is always there. But that's not like. The ecosystems have been changing with climate. The ecosystems have transited over a period of vast amount of time. Next, we'll see. Now this is the picture 150 million years back, when even this place was not there. We were part of a larger continent. Next. Then you can see the vegetation. Hardly any vegetation was there 18,000 years ago, but there were ecosystems like conifers, grassland, woodland, desert, taiga. Now how this has been done? The symbols, colored symbols tell you all ecosystems of the world as we biologists understand them today. And each one of them is looking at people in Russia, Siberia, how climate change is going to affect them in Siberia, tundra, taiga, in France, in United States, in Malaysia, Indonesia, India. So this was what is available from fossil records, pollen records 18,000 years ago. So it tells us something about the natural changes in the climate and how it has caused distribution of the plants. Next. Then the top part is cut, but I can read it for you. 6,000 years ago, you can see more vegetation because the climate was favorable for better vegetation growth. Next. Then this is the present vegetation. We are in a slightly warmer period of the Holocene, and this is the picture that we get today. What will happen in future? Next. This is what we have today, these biomes. Every student of geography, botany, zoology, they all study this classification. They know it almost by heart. Next. But the change in the thermal profile and also overall precipitation, whether it is snow or rain, it's going to affect. Now this shows you shades of red indicate percentage of vegetation model that predicted a change in biome type. So many things are going to change, and some of these ecosystems are going to change so abruptly that there would be questions like food security, which India is already facing. Water security, which we may face in immediate future. Water security, food security means ecological security, habitat security. All these questions are going to emerge and occupy politicians and media for the years to come. Next. So there are various threatened habitat which are shown here. I will not go into details. The DVD which has been given to you has all this data. Please go through it. Next. Grassland and shrublands, they will change to deserts. Next. 35% of world is existing terrestrial habitat will be altered. Next. And what happens is, it is a domino effect. If there is less rainfall and if there is drought in one part in South America, it affects United States of America. So they have to take care of each other, and it's not that easy. So many countries are at risk, like Russia, Sweden, Finland. Half of that existing habitats are at risk. Mexico, it is predicted that 2.4% of species will lose 90% of their range. Then population at the greatest risk are rare and isolated species. Then polar bears, everybody is talking them as iconic symbols of climate change. Next. Then boreal means towards the northern latitudes, we have more problems at hand because slight rise in the temperature suddenly shifts everything, breeding cycle, flowering cycle, pollinators, everything. So things are not the same anymore and nature can't adjust in such a short period of time. Next. So we have phenology. Phenology is the science of studying flowering, fruiting, seed formation, and that is what I was referring right in the beginning, that we have seen in the campus cassia, amalthas, we started flowering in our own campus in November. It is not normal time for that. Kanna, karonda, cassia, we call it karonda. That kanna is flowering in July. Right now you can see, if you go around the university, you can see karonda plant flowering in July, but there are no pollinators because of the climate change. Lots of things are happening like this. People are reporting, media is reporting. Suddenly someone will report that a mango is flowering, fruiting. Next. Climate change would increase wildfires. Media has reported extensively Californian fires, Australian fires, fires in all over Greece. Greece lost. One of the reasons for economic recession in Greece is the massive losses caused to their orchards and plantations during the summer fires. Next. And that causes ecological simplification. These are some of the pictures that you get during this month and coming subsequent months. For photographer, our campus is a paradise because all over Tiswadi Island, concretization has taken place and they are destroying everything, including natural and cultural heritage. Now, this is a snapshot of what is present. This will not be there a few years from today. It will change completely. So we have this biodiversity in our own campus. Next. So plant invasion, lots of weeds, Epiterium, water hyacinth, water rose, then Parthenium, they are invading everywhere. So that would cause more problems. Next. So we have seen also that silk cotton trees, what they do is they seem to have some sort of internal biological clock. I have been studying it for 15 years. What I found is due to climate change, their flowering is delayed, but they rapidly complete their pod formation, that is from where you get the seeds and cotton. So this is something peculiar that is happening. The trees are also in a state of suspended animation and confusion. Next, because of climate change. So climate change would affect the wild native flowers and their pollination. If you move all over our campus, you will see 60 to 70 different types of colorful wild flowers. Now what is the future of this with climate change? Big question mark. Next. So not only this, but on the flowers, hundreds of species of insects depend, including honeybees. What is the future of these honeybees? Climate change will affect honeybees. Climate change will affect beneficial insects. Climate change will affect the overall food chain, food webs. Next. Climate change will also affect food sources and breeding cycles of birds because birds are very important. There are 21,000 species of birds and many are threatened now. The number of threatened species is increasing like anything. Some of these birds have migrated to university campus from surrounding areas because there is some water here, there is some vegetation here, there is some shelter here, there is some security here, there is no poaching, there is no hunting in the campus. Our university campus is a green oasis. Most of the birds are from university campus. Thanks to Dr. Shanbag and his students, a lot of work has been done. Sonali Borges will tell you. But what we are observing is climate change is affecting now what generally the berries and fruits they eat. Next. So a large number of tropical bird species would become extinct due to climate change. Next. Thank you very much.